The most technical rivalry in the history of the UFC. Pereira and Adesanya did not choose each other. It was the fates that crossed their paths. Before the octagon, this rivalry began in silence, inside the kickboxing ring. Israel Mobalojit... Forget about this, I'm not reading all of that. Israel Adesanya was a prodigy from Africa, born 22 July 1989 in Lagos, Nigeria. The last stylebender was a nickname given to him due to his artistic striking abilities. When he was a kid, he enrolled in the school's taekwondo club before he got pulled out due to an injury. At the age of 10, and due to his parents wanting their children to receive a well-recognized higher education, they settled in Rotorua, New Zealand. Adesanya attributes his decision to pursue martial arts later in life because he was bullied during his high school years.
See fighter Israel Adesanya, who after being bullied as a boy, turned his life around.
There's not one of those places where you find a lot of people who had that self-driven belief from a young age. Where does yours come from?
From talking to myself. I mean, you're right. There's a culture, like a weird subculture of like, you know, crabs in a bucket mentality where it's like you can't really speak on what you've done or what you're doing because it's seen as boasting or whatever. But I mean, Ali said it ain't bragging if you can back it up. So I've been backing it up for years now. So I can say what I want and do what I want. I have different rituals and systems I do because, you know, I've been bullied as a kid, so I was always told I wasn't shit, you know. But you can't be deprecating to yourself when everyone else is trying to shit on you. You have to be able to talk to yourself in the right way. So
Adesanya's first exposure to fighting and the early influence on him was watching the British boxer Prince Nassim Muhammad. At the age of 18, he started training kickboxing after being inspired by the Muay Thai film Ong Bak. 2 years later, Adesanya made the decision to cease his studies in pursuit of a career in kickboxing and went on to amass an amateur record of 32 wins, 1 loss before turning professional and fighting in China. Alex Pereira's story couldn't be more opposite. Raised in Brazil, poverty, growing up in a favela, Pereira dropped out of middle school and began working as a bricklayer's assistant. Later, in a tire shop, he started drinking heavily and eventually became an alcoholic. In 2009, he ought to change his life and fight the addiction by training kickboxing. And he discovered his gift for the combat. He realized that it could be his life's salvation from poverty. 28 amateur matches, achieving a record of 25 wins, all by knockouts, and just 3 losses. Pereira's signature power, particularly his devastating left hook, became evident early in his amateur career. This is the story of 2 men, 2 paths, heading towards the same collision. Their first fight happened in 2016 in kickboxing. Adesanya was confident, sharp, deadly, with a flavor. For much of the fight, he was the better technician, but Pereira had patience, a pattern recognition of a demon, and a left hook that erased mistakes. And sure enough, 1 mistake from the stylebender, 1 moment, 1 punch. Adesanya went down. Pereira won the fight. At that time, it looked just like another fight. Nobody knew this was the start of a generational rivalry that crossed 2 eras. Years went by. They met again. This time, higher stakes. A world title is on the line. Again, Adesanya was winning, outpointing Pereira, outstriking him. Pereira was losing, but he was never out of the fight. Round number 5, fatigue creeps in, timing slows down, and technique gets sloppier. And then, disaster happens. Pereira Thanos snapped Adesanya's consciousness. 2 fights, 2 wins for Poatan. Adesanya left kickboxing and entered MMA. He exploded. Knockouts, highlights, swagger. Within years, he became the UFC middleweight champion, a global star. And he had to open his mouth.
So, at the end of the day, no one knows who the f he is. And he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub talking some shit about I beat that guy one time, trying to get a dick sucked from a crack whore or some shit.
He woke the demon. Pereira followed him. Dana White knew about these matchups, and he tried to hire the Brazilian. The Nigerian apparently loved the idea of getting revenge. At the historic Madison Square Garden, the site of the greatest kickboxing matches of all time, in New York, the last state to allow the UFC in the United States, the favorite was the versatile Nigerian. Champion since 2019, it was the 7th defense of the belt. The UFC fast-tracked Alex Pereira. The two fought an epic duel in New York. The punches went violently into the African stomach and very strong kicks to the left chin to undermine the supporting leg. Everything was going well for the Brazilian until Adesanya landed a powerful punch in the final seconds of the first round, which made Alex wobble. He was saved by the bell. It was enough for Adesanya to come back certain of victory. The final round, Adesanya came in certain it would end his trauma and would beat his executioner. But it turns out that Poatan knew it was all or nothing, since on points defeat was inevitable, so he had to knock him out. The African had no strength to defend himself, no energy to dodge. He became a fixed target. Adesanya was knocked out standing up. Sensational victory. Cinematic by Alex Poatan Pereira. Adesanya's reign is over. And with justice, Adesanya will have the right to revenge himself. But the trauma increased. Adesanya found his kryptonite. The Brazilian middleweight champion, Alex Pereira, the former alcoholic whose life was changed by martial arts. But rivalries aren't about records, they are about decisions. Adesanya chose to face him again. No excuses, no waiting. In the rematch, Adesanya tapped into some darkness. And he was not the same person, he was different. First round, Adesanya's leg is busted already. Poatan got him hurt. He smells blood and rushes for the finish. One right hand, lights out. For the first time ever, Alex Pereira was unconscious. Knocked out cold. This rivalry wasn't about who's better. Pereira represents inevitability, pressure, consequences. Adesanya represents evolution, adaptation, refusal to accept fate.
We had Alex Pereira in studio yesterday. Do you have love for Israel? Like when you watch him compete, do you hope for the best for him? Do you want him to win?
I don't see myself cheering against Israel Adesanya. I wish him the best, and I think that without him I will not be where I am today. I would have not got in the UFC with the good contract that I did due to the history that we have.
What's your reaction to that?
Same. I think God blessed me with a great opponent like Alex Pereira. It's easy to say that now on this side, but it takes a lot to take on that man. And I always knew that it would have history. I respect the guy and I want the best for him. I like the fact that he's running through everyone because, again, it just shows how good he is.